Today, we're going to open a kind of time capsule of wisdom. We're diving into a collection of proverbs and sayings that were put together way back in 1916. And they weren't just meant to be insightful, they were designed to build a real bridge between cultures. So let's get into the powerful idea that drove this whole project.
Right from the get-go, the book's mission is crystal clear. This isn't just a random list of quotes. It's meant to be an ambassador. That's such a powerful concept, right? The idea that wisdom itself can create goodwill and real understanding, that's the lens we're going to look through for everything that follows.
So, here's our game plan for today. First, we'll look at why the book was even created. Then, we'll dive into its teachings on character and our relationships. And finally, we'll talk about what all this timeless wisdom really means for us right here, right now.
Okay, so let's start by unpacking that mission. You have to remember, this book was published during World War I. I mean, the world was in the middle of this massive, unprecedented conflict. And when you think about that context, the goal of this book becomes even more amazing. So here's the bottom line. The editors looked around and saw a world that was just losing its sense of shared humanity. They really believed that by sharing these great ideas and this deep philosophy, they could help bring back a spirit of charity, one that, as they put it, neither despises nor fears other cultures. That message, well, it feels just as urgent today as it must have back then.
Now, let's get into the wisdom itself and see how it all works. It starts with the foundation of everything, the inner self. The book basically suggests that, hey, before we can go building bridges with other people, we've got to build a strong character on the inside first.
And the book has this really fascinating take on humility. It's not about thinking less of yourself, not at all. It's about finding that perfect balance, that middle path between being arrogant and, being a total doormat. It's kind of what we might call confident humility today, where you're self-aware enough to know your strengths without being cocky and to know your weaknesses without feeling insecure.
And this prayer just illustrates that idea perfectly. This is from Abu Bakr, the first caliph, and it isn't about weakness. It's this deep acknowledgement of your own limits and a real desire to be a better person, totally separate from what anyone else thinks or says about you.
Then you get this incredibly stark contrast. On one hand, knowledge is power. It's the ultimate authority, the thing that guides even the most powerful rulers. But on the other hand, ignorance isn't just a lack of facts. It's portrayed as a kind of living death, a state where you're not truly alive.
A huge part of wisdom, according to this collection, is knowing when to just be quiet. The idea that a slip of the tongue is more dangerous than a slip of the foot? Man, that feels so incredibly true today, in an age where one careless comment can literally circle the globe in seconds. Real wisdom, it seems, is found in that pause and that restraint.
Okay, so from that inner foundation, the wisdom starts to move outward, into our relationships. How do we build and how do we keep the bonds with others that really give life its meaning?
So yeah, the big question. How do we build a real friendship? The book doesn't give you some easy step-by-step formula. Instead, it gives us these timeless signs of what a genuine connection actually looks like. I just love how practical these are. A friendship is really only tested when things get tough. And that last one, that's fantastic advice, isn't it? If your friend is sweet, do not eat him up. Basically, don't overuse a good friendship. Don't take advantage of their kindness until there's nothing left. It's all about balance and respect.
And this one quote just sums it all up perfectly. True friendship goes way beyond just being there when it's convenient. It's a commitment that lasts through distance, through hardship, and even beyond life itself. It's about a loyalty that truly endures.
And moving beyond friendship, the book has this really powerful insight on forgiveness. It reframes the whole thing. It's not some chore you have to do. It's a source of real pleasure, a satisfaction that's way deeper and longer lasting than revenge could ever be. You're choosing inner peace. And modern psychology completely backs this up. Forgiveness literally lowers stress, while holding a grudge hurts us way more than it ever hurts the other person. So, we've looked at ourselves, we've looked at our relationships. Now we turn to the wild, unpredictable nature of life itself, that constant cycle of good times and bad times.
Okay, I love this part because the book gives us a total paradox. It holds up two opposite truths without even trying to make them fit together. On one side, being alone can keep you safe, but on the flip side, even a perfect paradise is totally worthless if you don't have people to share it with. The real wisdom here is that life isn't about choosing one or the other, it's about learning how to navigate both.
I mean, what a powerful image, right? Patience isn't some passive waiting game.
The book presents it as an act of incredible strength. It's hard, it's a bitter cup, but it's something that only the truly strong of character can really handle.
And that strength, that patience, is rewarded with this really hopeful promise. It's that classic idea, you know? It's always darkest before the dawn. It suggests that sticking it out actually has a purpose, and that right when things feel their absolute worst, that's when a solution is just around the corner.
All right, let's bring it all home. How does this collection of wisdom, put together over 100 years ago, actually speak to our lives in this crazy modern world?
You know, this quote just sums up one of the book's biggest themes so beautifully. After a whole lifetime of searching, the final conclusion is that real, lasting wealth, it's not stuff. It's an internal state, contentment. That's the treasure that, as another proverb in the book says, is inexhaustible.
And check out this story about Salatin. It shows these principles in the real world. He gives his word and he sticks to it, even when it's tough and his own advisors are telling him not to. His integrity is absolute. But then he also holds other people to that same high standard. It shows that truthfulness is a two-way street, and when it's broken, there are serious consequences. It's just a powerful lesson that your word isn't just a promise, it's the foundation of who you are.
And that kind of brings us to our final question for today. This book was created to be an ambassador of understanding in a really noisy, broken world. Well, a century later, our world is probably noisier and more connected than ever. So what is the value of this kind of quiet, patient, timeless wisdom for us now? That's definitely something to think about.